Be honest with yourself for just 1 second. When did you last check whether your mulch is still doing its job? When did you last deadhead your coneflowers? When did you last water deeply enough to actually reach the roots? If you are hesitating on any of those, your garden is already falling behind, and July is the month that makes it permanent. Here is a quick checklist. Be honest with yourself. Are you stepping outside every morning and watering for 15 or 20 minutes and calling it done? Are you looking at faded, spent flowers and leaving them on the plant because you just haven't gotten around to it? Is the mulch you put down back in April sitting flat and thin and basically doing nothing at this point? If you answered yes to even one of those, your garden is quietly falling behind right now, and you may not see the damage until September when it is too late to fix it. Welcome back to Martha's Backyard Farm. I'm glad you're here, and if this is your first time joining us, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a video. This channel is built for serious gardeners who want real answers, not just pretty pictures. I have been gardening for over 25 years, and I have made every single mistake on that checklist. I have come home from a week away in late July to find a perennial bed that looked like it had been through a storm. I have watched gorgeous stands of phlox get swallowed by powdery mildew because I waited too long. I have seen tall delphiniums snap clean at the stem overnight because I skipped one small task. Today, I am walking you through 10 things you absolutely must do for your perennials right now, in July. Not nice to do, must do. And I want to warn you up front. One of them comes with a hard deadline tied to a specific date on the calendar. And if you miss it, you will not get another shot until next year. So stay with me all the way through, because that one could change everything your fall garden does. Let's start with number 10, and I want you to think of this one as the foundation that every other task on this list sits on top of. Get this wrong, and nothing else you do in July will matter as much as it should. The mistake I see constantly is this. Gardeners step outside every morning, run the hose for 15 or 20 minutes, and feel like they have done their job. But shallow, frequent watering is one of the most damaging things you can do to a perennial in summer heat. When moisture never penetrates more than an inch or two, roots follow it right up to the surface where July sun can cook them. Those plants become completely dependent on you, and skip one day, and they collapse. According to Virginia Tech Extension, deep and infrequent watering that soaks the root zone down 4 to 6 inches is what builds a genuinely resilient root system. Here is the formula. At 75 degrees, your perennials need about 1 inch of water per week, and for every 10 degrees the temperature climbs above that, add another ½ inch. At 95 degrees, which is not unusual across most of the country in July, you are looking at 2 inches per week, delivered in 1 or 2 long, slow sessions. A soaker hose or drip line run for 30 to 45 minutes gets that water where it needs to go. One thing most gardening videos never tell you: if your plant is wilting at noon on a hot day, do not automatically reach for the hose. Push your finger into the soil down to the second knuckle, and if it still feels moist, that plant is experiencing heat stress, not drought. Overwatering a heat-stressed plant starves the roots of oxygen and makes things significantly worse. Check the soil first, and always water in the early morning. Directly connected to watering is number 9, and doing both together will cut your water needs in half for the rest of the summer. Research published in 2025 confirmed that organic mulch reduces soil moisture evaporation by 28 to nearly 60% and can lower soil temperature by 10 to 15 degrees. Bare soil in a 90-degree garden can exceed 100 degrees at the surface, and at that temperature, roots stop absorbing water and nutrients efficiently, even when both are present. A 2 to 3 inch layer of shredded hardwood bark, straw, or finished compost changes that equation completely. One critical warning though: keep your mulch pulled back 4 to 6 inches from the crown and base of every plant, because piling it against the stem traps moisture, cuts off air exchange, and creates exactly the warm, wet conditions that rot and fungal disease need to take hold. If your spring mulch has compressed down, now is the time to add another inch on top, which brings us to number 8. And this one is about understanding what a flower actually means to your plant at a biological level. From the plant's point of view, a flower exists for one purpose: to produce seeds. The moment those petals start to fade, the plant begins pulling energy away from roots and foliage and redirecting it towards swelling that seed head. Deadheading, simply removing spent flowers promptly, interrupts that cycle and pushes the plant to produce another round of blooms. For coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, daylilies, salvia varieties like caradonna and May Night, and Shasta daisies, consistent deadheading through July and into August keeps color coming right up to first frost. The technique matters. Follow the stem down to the next leaf node or side shoot, and cut just above that point to encourage branching and a fuller plant. And one important exception to keep in mind: toward the end of summer, let the final flush of echinacea and rudbeckia go to seed, because those seed heads feed goldfinches through fall and add real structure to the winter garden. Now we move into the techniques that separate gardeners who finish the season strong from those who wonder every September what went wrong. Number 7 is the one I warned you about at the very beginning, and I need your full attention right now. If you grow asters, garden mums, or tall sedums like Sedum Autumn Joy, or any of the Hylotelephium varieties, there is a technique called pinching that will completely transform what those plants do for you in fall. Pinching means removing the top 1 to 2 inches of every stem, forcing the plant to branch out into multiple shorter, sturdier stems, instead of one tall, floppy one, resulting in a dense, full plant that holds its shape through September rains and produces dramatically more flowers. But here is what makes this genuinely urgent. The deadline is right around the 4th of July. By early July, your asters and mums have already begun initiating flower buds at a microscopic level inside those stem tips. You cannot see them yet, but they are there, and if you pinch after that point, you are cutting away the very buds that were going to give you your fall flowers. The result is a plant that blooms late, blooms sparsely, or does not bloom at all that season. If it is still before July 4th, go do it today. Literally, today. If that date has passed, do not touch those stems. Let the plant develop naturally and start pinching next year in late May. For asters, look for Symphyiotrichum novae Angliae varieties like Alma Potchki and Purple Dome, and for mums, Sheffield Pink and Clara Curtis are far more reliably perennial than the potted mums sold at grocery stores in autumn, which are bred for one season and rarely come back. Moving to number 6. And this is the task most gardeners are emotionally afraid to do. Look at your catmint right now. It is probably flopped open in the center and looks exhausted. Your perennial geraniums may have spread into a shapeless sprawl, and your salvia likely has bare sticks at the bottom and spent stalks at the top. These plants have given everything they had to spring, and the instinct most people follow is to leave them alone out of kindness. That instinct is wrong. What those plants actually need is an aggressive haircut, a reduction of 25 to 50% of total height. A catmint that was 18 inches tall gets cut back to 9 or 10, and salvia gets cut all the way down to the basal foliage at the base. It will look rough for a week, but within 3 to 4 weeks you will have a plant that looks like it was just installed. Geranium Roseanne is one of the most rewarding plants you can do this to, and cut back hard in mid-July. She will often bloom continuously, right through to first frost. One important piece of advice beyond what most sources tell you: do this work in the early morning or cooler afternoon, never in midday heat, because pruning sends a biological signal to push new growth, which is exactly the additional stress you do not want on a plant already working hard to survive. Water deeply immediately after cutting, and hold off on any nitrogen fertilizer while the plant recovers. That brings us to number 5, which is about something most gardeners get completely backwards. Nitrogen drives fast, lush, green growth, and in spring that is exactly what you want. In late July and into August, it becomes a trap. As days begin to shorten, your perennials naturally begin thickening their cell walls and shifting hormones, moving from grow mode into preparation mode and storing carbohydrates in roots and crowns to carry them through winter. When you apply high nitrogen fertilizer at this stage, you are pressing snooze on that entire process, and the plant pushes out soft, immature growth that has no time to harden before cold arrives. That tender tissue is the first thing to freeze, often creating entry points for pathogens that damage the crown over winter. Your last high nitrogen application should happen no later than mid to late July, with at least 6 to 8 weeks before your area's first expected frost. You can still apply a thin top dressing of compost, which feeds soil biology slowly without spiking nitrogen, or a fertilizer weighted toward phosphorus and potassium to support root strength into August. Plants especially sensitive to this mistake include delphiniums, garden phlox, and ornamental grasses like miscanthus and panicum. Number 4 is the task that feels completely optional right up until the moment it is not. July thunderstorms across most of the United States regularly bring wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour. They come fast, they hit hard, and they are almost always overnight, when you cannot do anything about it. I have had gardeners tell me they woke up after a summer storm to find a delphinium they had been nurturing for 3 years, lying flat in the mud with a clean snap at the base. That plant cannot be saved with a stake. It is just a loss. Staking before the storm takes 20 minutes and costs you almost nothing. By mid-July, your tall perennials are at or near their maximum height, loaded with developing buds and flower weight at the top. Delphiniums are especially vulnerable, reaching 4 to 6 feet tall, with hollow stems that snap easily in wind. And tall rudbeckia, garden phlox, ornamental grasses, and perennial sunflowers like helianthus, lemon queen, all carry real risk right now. For single-stem plants like delphiniums, a bamboo cane tied with soft twine works cleanly and nearly disappears once the plant fills in around it, and you need to push that cane at least 8 to 10 inches into the soil so it can actually hold against wind load. For clump-forming plants, a metal ring support or peony cage lets stems grow up through it naturally. And if you want an approach that looks completely invisible, try what British gardeners call pea sticking. Push branchy prunings from shrubs into the soil around the clump, and the plants grow up through them in a web of natural-looking support with no visible hardware anywhere. Whatever method you choose, do it today, before the next storm, not after. Number 3 surprises nearly everyone the first time they hear it. We are going to divide plants in July. I know your instinct says spring or fall is the right time, and for most perennials you would be correct. But bearded irises and daylilies are a meaningful exception. July is actually the ideal time according to extension programs at Iowa State University, the University of Wisconsin, Kansas State University, and the University of Illinois. Both plants bloom in late spring and early summer, and then enter active rest. And warm summer soil means new root establishment happens faster than in cold spring soil. Research confirms that irises divided in late July are significantly more likely to flower the following spring than those divided in fall or winter, which may not bloom until the second spring after division. For bearded irises, dig the entire clump, discard the old woody rhizomes in the center with no leaves attached, and keep firm, healthy sections with fans of green leaves and rhizomes at least 2 to 4 inches long. Trim leaf fans back to 4 to 6 inches and replant with the rhizomes sitting right at the soil surface, because bearded irises need sun exposure on their rhizomes to bloom well. For daylilies, place 2 garden forks back to back in the center of the clump and lever them apart, with each division needing several leaf fans and a healthy root system replanted at the same depth. One thing worth thinking about: a single mature daylily clump can yield 8 to 15 viable divisions, and at any nursery, those sell for $8 to $15 each. Do that math. Which brings me to number 2, and this is the one that most gardening videos completely skip over. Everything we have talked about so far, the watering, the mulch, the cutting back, the feeding decisions, all of it depends on one thing working correctly underneath the surface: the living biology of your soil. According to University of Maryland Extension, compost can be added to perennial beds at any time of year as a top dressing during the active growing season. And the method is simple. pull your mulch back, spread 1 inch of finished compost across the soil surface around your plants, and replace the mulch on top. According to the EPA's 2025 report on compost, this practice helps soil retain nutrients, maintains a near-neutral pH, and dramatically improves the diversity and abundance of beneficial soil microorganisms, the engine that converts organic matter into the slow, steady nutrition your perennials draw on through the rest of summer and into fall. This is not the same as applying a nitrogen fertilizer. This is feeding the living system in your soil, and a garden that gets this treatment does not just survive July. It builds genuine health from the inside out. And now we arrive at number 1, the most important task on this entire list, and the one that requires the most nuance, because there is genuinely bad advice out there that will make your problems significantly worse if you follow it. July marks the peak emergence period for 2 of the most destructive forces your perennial garden will face all season: the Japanese beetle and powdery mildew. Japanese beetles are unmistakable, about ½ an inch long, metallic green with copper-brown wing covers, feeding in groups, and skeletonizing leaves down to a brown lacework of nothing. They target coneflowers, hostas, catmint, and a wide range of other perennials. Now here is where the bad advice comes in. Those yellow pheromone bag traps you see sold everywhere are genuinely counterproductive, because research is clear that they attract far more beetles to your property than they ever actually catch. Do not use them. The most effective control is the least glamorous. Go out in the early morning when beetles are cool and sluggish. Hold a bucket of soapy water under each infested plant and knock the beetles directly into it. For longer-term biological control, beneficial nematodes, specifically Heterorhabditis bacteriophora, have shown up to 96% effectiveness against Japanese beetle grubs in field trials, and you apply them to moist lawn soil in August when grubs are young and feeding near the surface. One important update most gardening sources have not caught up with yet. According to University of Minnesota Extension, commercial milky spore products have not been shown to provide reliable benefit in modern university research trials. A more effective option is Bacillus thuringiensis galleriae, sold under names like grubgone and grubhalt, which affects both adult beetles and larvae and has stronger research backing. Now let's talk about powdery mildew, because July is exactly when it starts taking over if you are not managing it proactively. Warm days, cooler nights, and high humidity create near-perfect conditions for fungal spores to spread. And the plants most at risk are garden phlox, especially older varieties without built-in resistance, bee balm, and tall garden asters. Your first line of defense is cultural. Remove 1 in 3 stems from dense clumps of phlox and bee balm to open airflow. Water at the base of the plant, never overhead, and always in the morning, so foliage dries completely before evening. For plants already showing the white dusty coating, Cornell University's confirmed formula works well. 1 tablespoon of baking soda combined with 1 teaspoon of insecticidal soap or lightweight horticultural oil per gallon of water, applied weekly from the first sign of infection. And USDA researchers have confirmed that neem oil, alternated with that spray, improves results. The long-term solution is replacing susceptible varieties with resistant ones. So for phlox, look for David, Robert Poor, and Gina. And for bee balm, raspberry wine, violet queen, and Monarda fistulosa carry significantly better resistance. And if you grow true lilies, check the undersides of leaves right now for the scarlet lily leaf beetle and handpick both adults and the orange egg masses immediately. Before I let you go, 5 rapid-fire rules that tie everything together. Walk your beds every 3 to 4 days, because 5 minutes of observation catches problems before they become expensive. Never fertilize a plant wilting from heat or drought. Water first, let it recover 1 to 2 days, then feed if appropriate. Wipe your pruning shear blades with isopropyl alcohol between plants when working in areas with disease pressure, because 30 seconds of wiping can prevent a month of spreading infection. If a plant is clearly in the wrong location, July through early August is actually a workable time to move most perennials as long as you water them in thoroughly afterward. And finally, any diseased material you remove goes into the trash bag, not the compost pile, because fungal spores and pest eggs survive home composting and will come right back into your garden. So there you have it. 10 tasks, 5 golden rules, and everything your perennial garden needs from you right now in July. Tell me in the comments what state or USDA hardiness zone you are gardening in, and which one of these 10 tasks you are tackling this weekend. If you are not yet subscribed to Martha's Backyard Farm, do that right now before you close this video. It is free, it is here every week. And this community of serious gardeners is exactly where you belong. Your perennials have given you everything they had, all spring and into early summer. July is your chance to give something back. Go take care of your garden. I will see you in the next one.